Good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to the Engineering Conclave 2025. I am Sai Hasini, serving as your moderator for this session. Today's theme, From Classroom to Contribution. Planning internships, projects, and research in BE is all about bridging the gap between what we learn in our classrooms and how we apply that learning to make real world impact. Over the next 1 hour, we will hear from an inspiring panel of leaders, academicians, researchers, industry professionals, and mentors who walk this journey themselves and are here to guide us with their experiences and insights. Their diverse expertise, ranging from artificial intelligence and blockchain to global HR practices and cutting edge software engineering, will help us understand how to shape our BE journey into one of true contribution. So, without further delay, let me take the privilege to introducing our distinguished panelists. Our first panelist, Professor Srinath Dose. He's the professor and dean of the Faculty of Engineering and Technology at Botho University, Gaborone, Botswana, where he oversees campuses across 5 African countries with a BTech from the University of Madras, ME from Anna University, PhD from St. Peter's University, and advanced certifications in higher education and cybersecurity. Professor Doss has a strong academic foundation. He has authored more than 150 research articles in reputed journals and conferences worldwide. His expertise spans mobiles and HOC networks, information and network security, cloud computing, wireless and sensor networks. He also contributes actively to the global academic community as an editorial board member, reviewer, and advisor, while being associated with professional organizations such as IEEE, IAENG, and UACEE. It is a truly honor to have you with us, Professor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. And next, we have Dr. Jothi Paranthaman, our second panelist, a seasoned academic and researcher in computer science, currently serving at Gaborone University, College of Law and Professional Studies, Botswana. With over a decade of experience in higher education and research, she has made significant contributions in the area of data science, big data analytics, and blockchain technology. Dr. Jothi holds a PhD in computer science and is also pursuing an executive MTech in big data and blockchain at IIT Patna. She has earned her master's in computer systems management from Botho University and a bachelor of engineering from Anna University, India. Her researches focus on integrating data science, blockchain, and fault detection systems to improve reliability and efficiency. She has also authored several publications advancing the application of these emerging technologies. Hello, ma'am. Good evening. I'm sorry, but you're not connected to your mic. Could you please check with the mic? Moving on, our third panelist, we have Dr. Krishna Chaitanya Rao, Direct Program Director at the Translational Data Analytics Institute at Ohio State University. At TDAI, he leads interdisciplinary research and oversees the Masters of Translational Data Analytics program, supporting student success through experiential learning, applied research, and workforce readiness. Previously, he led responsible and trustworthy AI initiatives at Vanguard, embedding fairness, explainability, and governance into enterprise AI systems. At the University of Massachusetts, Amherst, he expanded global partnerships and experiential learning programs. He is also the co-founder of an edtech startup, co-author of Privacy in the Age of Innovation, and recipient of the AIEA Herald. It is a delight to welcome you, Dr. Rao.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for joining us today. Our next panelist, we have Ms. Latha Basava, a lawyer and HR leader currently serving as a regional HR for Sodexo at Google in Hyderabad. She brings a rare combination of legal expertise and HR acumen. Having worked across the United States, Europe, Southeast Asia, and India in leadership roles, starting her career as an advocate at the age of 21. She went on to shape global HR strategies and is known for her people first philosophy. She has been instrumental in workplace initiatives such as prevention of sexual harassment, women empowerment, talent development, and employee well-being. Under her leadership, the Google Sorexo account has grown significantly, expanding her across India, USA, and APAC. Ms. Basava is widely respected for bringing a human angle and sustainable practices into business. Good evening, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Hasini. I really love the introduction. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you for joining us today. So, moving on, we have an icebreaker to start up with the questions and to move on to the panel discussion. I will just ask the question and it is open for all. If you could go back to your BE days, what is one internship, project, or research opportunity you wish you had taken up, and why?
Yeah, definitely, I like to go to do some kind of internship with the real industry, solving some real problems. So that was, I really missed it during I did my bachelor's from 2000 to 2004 as a BTech in information technology. We didn't have this type of internship. We had to do, to understand the problem statement properly, set the objectives, and solve this by one. And then this solution should be a sustainable solution that should be helped to serve the society. I really love to, do such project. Now, since currently where I'm working, we are working on sustainability. That's what I like to do if I go back in 2000 to 2004. Thank you.
Thank you for that, sir. And I would love to hear from other panelists as well.
Yeah, I can definitely echo what Dr. Srinath just emphasized. It's definitely real world experience, and one of the piece that I'm looking at, after being in US for quite some time, and specifically leading research initiatives at Ohio State University. So one of the unique thing that we noticed here for the students in my program is they have this called capstone projects. So what we do during the capstone is we bring external companies to sponsor projects, and again, the idea of capstone is to really synthesize what they have learned during the program, and they get to apply their learnings in a meaningful way. So and they develop project management skills. They develop kind of very similar to industry stimulation. What we do is in a form of sprints. So they kind of plan their sprint, they do retrospective, and they implement, and they work closely with partners, and develop real world solutions. So yeah, I think having something like that would be fantastic.
That's amazing, Mr. Krishna. Would I like anyone else want to add?
Maybe I can go. Uh, Thank you both, Chaitanya and Mr. Sri, adding up on your real-time exposure. But Hasni, I really don't want to undo what I have done. I feel that was the most easiest that we had gone through. I had a 1 year moot court, which was like a live practice in the courts. But I think currently with capstone projects that Mr. Krishna Chaitanya is also highlighting is very tough. I think with plagiarism, with students really had to go through so much. So I really don't want to undo. I think I was really happy with what I have done those days. Very less complicated, less of robotics and AI. I think I really don't want to undo, but I really wish that students get more support in these times.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. P. Jothi, anything from you?
Thank you for the question, madam, because I don't want to go back. Currently, also, I'm doing my MTech in IIT Patna, right? So we have done capstone project, and also I've done, even a major project and everything. So I'm done everything in a currently basis. So I don't want to go back and do all those things. That's what my.
That was very crisp and brief. Thank you for that. And now, moving on to the panel discussion. Professor Srinath Dos, my first question to you is, as a dean overseeing multiple campuses across Africa, what do you think are the most critical skills engineering students must acquire during their beyond classroom learning?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Okay. Basically, if I say that what critical skills the student need to learn than the academic. Basically, when they go for university, they will be learning a theoretical knowledge. Also, they'll be doing some practical. But what employers are looking for, not only the qualification. If someone is coming from the qualification like a BE, BTech, or whatever the qualification may be, but actually the employers are looking for students with critical skills like analytical thinking, problem solving, innovative. They should be able to articulate very well. They able to lead the team. So they are the very critical skills the employer will look for. So because anyone who complete the course, they will be having a degree certificate, but a quality student who have some additional skills, like even if you take a student, they should be able to analyze the problem, critically present the solution. They also able to innovate and think what type of solution we can do, what is an ethics involved in developing the solution. Is it a sustainable solution or not? The student should be able to also judge how does this solution is going to help the society. So that's what the student need to think, and then also need to develop the solution ethically, and then it should be also be able to easily understood by the other. They need to also have a very collaborative mindset, because they're going to work in a big team. They need to also to share the thoughts and knowledge. They also need to respect the colleagues as well when they do the development of project. So definitely the company is now looking for people not with only the qualification. If you say I have a degree, they don't take your degree. They need you to have an aptitude exam. You need to say how do you apply your critical thinking, how to you pass the analytical skills there. And then when they put a group discussion, you need to be able to articulate your point very clearly, not beating around the bush. You need to be straight to the point, and need to be exactly answering the question. So also when they put like you also need to respect when your team member is trying to present their topic for their own thoughts. So they need to also respect each other's views as well. So definitely companies looking for additional qualities, not only for the qualification. The students who are in engineering, I will urge them, please don't only learn as a theoretical knowledge. It doesn't help. Also you have some practical exposure. You need to go beyond. You need to think out of box, and then also be very innovative, and then you should able to present yourself as a best candidate among, even if you say like any interview, you should be able to present yourself as the best candidate. How do you do that? When you look at the CVs, they definitely understand. Okay, every student will be completing the course, but they don't do any additional certification. For example, if someone is doing a course on being cyber security, you can't stop there. You also need to go and do a ethical hacking CEH certificate or CISA certificate. You can also go for CISP. So you need to also do CCNA certificate. So just see the difference when someone is going with a degree certificate and someone is going with a degree certificate with the certifications, with the skills required. Who will be hired there? The person with the adequate skills will be hired for sure. So my request is that the student always need to develop their additional skills. Also look at the current demand. What is in the current demand in the market? They should also accommodate those things. Such candidate will never have any kind of difficulties in finding the job other than classroom learning. I request whoever is listening this, take it very seriously, and then you have only time during your university, your course of studies. Maybe after 4 years you
Yes.
need to go into the company. You should be ready for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor, for highlighting the importance of qualities and skills beyond academics. That's such a valuable reminder for all of us. Also, what other panelists think about this? Can you share your perspectives on this?
Well, I agree with Dr. Srinath because whatever he said is 100% right. With the theoretical knowledge, it is not enough when you're going for industries. You need tactical skills, and you have to develop other you have to learn language, and also you have to develop other skills as well. Even communication is also most important when you're going for industries. So student must develop all those skills. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Would anyone else want to share? All right, moving on. Dr. Jothi, with your expertise in big data and blockchain, what are some emerging project ideas BE students can explore in those areas and don't require high end resources?
Thank you for your question. Most of the students are thinking they need more expensive servers and other mining rigs, but it is not. That's not a true. They many free tools and databases are available on online. For example, if they want to do a project in big data or a blockchain, you can work on a projects like analyzing a public health data and also COVID trends and air pollution impacts. So these are the some emerging ideas available on online. We can use online data sets. It is possible for a free. We can use a free data set from Kaggle or other government portals. In blockchain, instead of creating a full cryptocurrency full cryptocurrency, and students can also try small projects like blockchain or tracking with a small contract, and they can use a blockchain based certificate system for a college purposes, and or also they can create a digital voting at a campus level. So these are the some tools like Ethereum testnets or other Hyperledger Fabric. It is available on online for they can use for free. So these are the some emerging project ideas in big data and blockchain, and it is also easy for them to get free data sets. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing those. Would anyone else love to share their thoughts on this? Okay, all right. Moving on, Dr. Krishna, you emphasize experiential learning. How can BE students convert their classroom assignments into impactful real world projects?
Sure, I think that's a great question. So I think from my experience, it's the bridge between classroom and contribution is all about mindset, right? Like I think oftentimes we treat assignments as just like temporary exercises. We just think of finishing, submitting, and just moving on from there. But I think it's also about just if you think from the other way, every assignment is a prototype, right, for something that can actually leave beyond the classroom. So let's say if you're working on any like AI assignment or like machine learning assignment, and where you're trying to predict house prices on a data set. So you could consider asking yourself, maybe could I use the same problem to apply to an NGO, or to apply to our own department, where our HOD could analyze the student trends. And I think there is also meaningful ways where you can bring those assignments to like real time use cases. And I think the other way is all about collaboration, right? So oftentimes, what I've noticed, not just within my current role, I was previously at Vanguard, where I was in the research and development team. And during my time at Vanguard, I was actively involved in the hiring process. And oftentimes, students just brief about their classroom projects, but again, there is no emphasis on like how those classroom projects could be applied to a real world context. And they don't also emphasize on the collaboration piece, right? So oftentimes if I had to look if I had to ask them question, who all are in your group, and they often tell that hey, within my group there are like two other computer science students. But I think it's also interesting to collaborate from other disciplines, not just within your like computer science program. Think of partnering with student from electronics or student from like mechanical engineering for that matter. So and again, I think some of these projects from the coursework could turn into like research publications, or it could be like you could also turn into startup or like a community tools that could help. I think you have to ask a fundamental question of like who else could this tool or like this application could be helpful, so that you can explore different ideas. And the other piece that I would like to emphasize is definitely the hackathons. I think they are the great way to test the mindset. And again, what starts as a classroom idea can become like a working prototype in 24 to 48 hours, where you do get feedback, you do a lot of iteration, you also do real world relevance. So yeah, I think during my time I've made most of hackathons, and in fact my own PhD dissertation is about hackathons and experiential learning. So yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Krishna, for sharing that and also stressing on the mindset shift. These days, generation kids have, submitting the assignments and just moving on. But through your message, I guess many of the engineering students can realize. And I would love to bring in other panelists over here to share their perspectives, their thoughts on this.
Yeah, thank you, Soy.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Sai. I think I agree with I really agree with Dr. Krishna what he said. So you know what basically so at Botho University we have a module called Innovation for Sustainable Development (ISD). We follow a challenge-driven education. This is the model where we learn from at KTH Royal Institute of Sweden. So basically, they are the one who came up with the idea called challenge-driven education. So we adapted that. What basically we do in under this module is that we bring stakeholders from different sectors to our campus. We ask them for the real world challenges. What type of challenges you face? These stakeholders basically they say these are the challenges what we face from water utilities, from or say for example tourism sector. So they come with the challenges, and we understand the challenges, and then we try to give them a sustainable solution. And then, as Dr. Krishna highly, it's rightly pointed out, like a hackathon. It's one way we really, encourage a student to think innovative. And then the follow-up hackathon in 2020, I think in 2020, we were sponsored by National Science Foundation, and we partnered with Clemson University, US, where we did a hackathon. From Clemson and Botho University partnered, we did hackathon in Botswana. So we brought Professor Jacob, and then along with the students to Botswana, along with our students, we're partnering with each other. So that's an exercise we did. It has a lot of learning, where the students where cultural exchanges was there, and the students were able to interact each other. And then when we brought school students and the university students together to do any prototype model as innovative, so that has really given some kind of edge for the student to showcase their talent actually. So these are some of the platforms where students will showcase their idea. And then the follow-up hackathon, we say that, can you please improve on these particular areas? And then we have follow-up hackathon. So there where you can see the students will be keep innovating the things, building from there. So we can see there will be, at the end of the end product will be like, something we can see and a sustainable solution coming out of that. So these type of things will really motivate, like this hackathon. Also students, are giving them opportunity to build a prototype model. So for example, I can also say one more module I did along with the University of Michigan with the Professor Panos. We did a module called Analytical Product Design. So this module itself says a student can work as a collaborative team, say like a team of 3 or 4. They can also, what they can do is that they need to come up with a prototype. The end of this outcome of this particular module is a prototype. That prototype, the student need to present what is the innovation into the product. So such type of module and what is the introduction of such modules in a curriculum, definitely it involves, the students can really try to think out of box, and then they can also provide some very excellent solutions.
Yes,
So
sir.
we need to try to come up with such ideas. Even the final year project, not just doing like some kind
Agreed,
of
sir.
small things. They need to put a lot of innovation. If you want to put innovation, you need to read a lot. When you read a lot, and then when you read a lot more articles, reading is very important. Okay, even when you want to write an article, it's not just writing something else. You need to learn the literature clearly. You need to understand where is the problem statement is, and then whatever solutions exist and how we can take it forward from there. When the students have this mindset, definitely they can come up with good ideas and thoughts and innovative ideas. I really concur what Dr. Krishna has presented. He said very well. He said everything what I supposed to say. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights. We'll definitely consider this as one of the most strongest perspectives ever. And next, moving on, we have Miss Lata Basava. From your vast HR experience, what are employers actually looking for when they see a student's internship record on their CV?
Okay, I think now we are moving from totally technical and then academic to real time. I think Dr. Krish has already highlighted about collaboration. He also highlighted about real time. So I think when it comes to me, what I start up to look up is, are they really genuine? What the internship that they have put up. So that is what I will start evaluating. And I also start looking at, is the resource having the right attitude? That's very important for me. Even now, I always do a reflection that it's not important for me where I work, but it's important for me is how I work. So I think this is what I apply when I validate internships also. Like, have the student really did their 100%? And again, echoing a lot to what Krish and also Sri has mentioned, to real-time scenario, right? Able are they having the ability to apply to real time, and are they able to convey that? I think that communication is very important, to say that, yes, Lata, this is genuine, we understand, I have the technical capabilities, I have the understanding of the project, and I can communicate into the large team. That is where Krish also highlighted about a collaboration, right? It's just not, okay, I have done it, I'm reading you 10-15 lines, but it's not that. But it's about, yes, I have the total understanding and I'm ready to collaborate with the real-time clients. I think that's what I will look up. So I think really looking into, has the initiative come up by himself alone, or is he coming up and showing as a team? I think that is what I will look up. It's, I think, technical I'm not validating, because I think both Krish and Sri has covered a lot about the technical aspect. So for me, again, repeating it as a genuine, how genuine is the project and how much is the attitude towards completing this objective. So that's how I'll put it, Hasni.
Yes, Miss Lata, that perspective of validating internships through real time scenarios is very insightful. And any more add-ups? Anyone wants to add anything?
No, it's fine. I think she covered very well.
Yes, okay. Moving forward again, we have Dr. Krishna. Um, Having worked in responsible AI, what can students do at the undergraduate level to ensure their projects and research follow ethical and responsible practices?
Sure. Yeah, I think one of the piece that I think one of my biggest lesson, having working in the responsible AI is it's basically a design principle if you have to think from that standpoint. So, and people think that Krishna is responsible AI is only for like industry. No, I mean I disagree with that. Like at every level you could apply, even at an undergrad level you could start embedding this. So, and one of the like oftentimes I get questions from students like, how do we start thinking from the responsible AI standpoint? So just ask fundamental questions when you pick up a data set, right? So who collected the data? Was there any consent? And was there any criteria in terms of underrepresented, or when you present results, avoid overstating the accuracy, and also acknowledge the uncertainty, right? Because you are not the one who curated the data, and the fact that you're acknowledging sorry, the fact that you're acknowledging someone had created, I think these small practices could make you a responsible researcher. And there are like a lot of frameworks that you can learn from. Like one of the classical framework that I've used in my own work is the NIST AI risk management framework, so which specifically focuses on trustworthiness, transparency, and accountability. So I think even if you don't apply the full framework, you could adopt like bits and pieces of it, like asking about bias, and also think about documenting methods, and think about being transparency. I think that could go a long way. And also the other piece is the habit of documenting, right? I think these days, everyone is super busy, but again, I think focusing on the documentation is key, because that can also help other researchers challenging assumptions. Also building the explainability piece will shape your professional identity as someone who builds trustworthy systems, not just the working ones. And one of the good way to start is, even if you use for your own assignments, like let's say if you're using ChatGPT or Claude or Copilot, or there are like even Meta Llama models for that matter. Just cite when you pick these sources, so that the future models can be labeled, so that they know which is the AI generated response and which is the human inputted response. So yeah.
Thank, thank you, Dr. Krishna, for reminding us that responsible AI is not just an industry principle, but something students can start practicing early on. Anyone want to share their perspectives?
No, it's fine, sir. I think he is well covered, because he's a specialist in responsible AI. When a specialist talks, you don't go addition to that. So it's very important. Okay, I really agree with Dr. Krishna what he said. Responsible AI, the student need to know how to use and what to use, what is ethical and what is not ethical. So it's very mandatory that nowadays students are very clever. When you give any task, they just go to ChatGPT or Gemini, they get a solution. And then they need to also, some people smart enough to, make sure that it is aligned to their assignments. So we should know where to use and where not to use, because, currently where I work, we also use Eternity to detect the plagiarism for the students. When they give an assignment or something, they usually do this, and then we usually check for plagiarism. So it's very good, everyone who was hearing this one, they should be aware of this responsible AI, and they should know, they should learn. Actually, I also love to, after hearing from him, I also want to explore more about this explain AI. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah.
That's great, sir. Even I'm with you, sir. Even I want to go towards the responsible AI as an inspiration from Krishna, sir. Okay. Moving on, we have Dr. Jothi. Many students often view research as intimidating. How can they start small, for example, through course projects and gradually transition into publishable research?
Thank you for your very good question. In research, they will feel it is big because we imagine, publishing in a top journal right away. But it starts with a curiosity. They have to begin with a course project. For example, analyzing a data set and for the subject assignments. And next step, they can add up some innovation. Maybe they can compare two algorithms or to improve accuracy. Then they can write down their own result clearly, because even with the small improvements, they can become it can become as a conference paper or a poster. So the research is just structured problem solving. It is not nothing scary, and also they can many students, they can collaborate each other. They can collect real data sets, and also they can test on multiple algorithms. They can write down their own observations clearly. Over the time, you can refine these into a conference paper, it can be more research on this complexity of algorithms. So this is a very most important for a problem solving, and it can be useful for starting a small projects. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for sharing. Would anyone else love to share their perspectives? Okay. Professor Srinath, you have published extensively in AI, cybersecurity, and cloud computing. How should students choose research areas or projects that balance academic depth and industry relevance?
Yeah, if we talk about students selecting the project, the student need to first they learn theoretical knowledge from the university, right? They learn about, for example, if they do any course, for example, I'm in cybersecurity. The student, when they study a course like a BEng cybersecurity, they learn all core concepts during the course of study. Okay, this need to be aligned with what is an existing. For example, if you do AI is applied in every sector. Say, for example, AI in banking, AI in security, AI in any sector in manufacturing. So because nowadays AI is used to automate the process. So what the student need to do is that when they have a theoretical background from the university, they also need to see how it should be applied to the various sector, and how to you need to align with what is the existing technology available. And then, so that what they do is that they don't only learn the theory, they apply this as applied research. When they do as applied research, they will come up with innovative solutions. These innovative solutions will also trigger them to have some possible publications out of this outcome of this particular research. This, they need to start with a small, by doing some kind of a conference paper. Also, if they work on more innovative research, it can be also going as a patent. Also, they can also build from there and then get sustainable solutions, and then it can be also used in publication in a journal, in a reputed journals. So slowly the student need to map with academic knowledge, taking that to applied research, from the applied research to the research, the publication part. So the student need to progress, not only stopping with the theoretical knowledge, they need to apply this knowledge to the current field of study, so that they will really get more interested when they do the research and applied research. And this will lead to a good outcome, like a research based outcome. It can also lead them become a good researcher. Also, they can progress from bachelor. So you heard Dr. Krishna was talking about PhD. Yes, and then students can now build from, be starting a base point where they will progress from bachelor's to master's.
Thank you, Professor, for emphasizing that while students must first build strong core concepts, their research should also align with applied needs across sectors. Um, Dr.
Yes.
Jothi, do you have any thoughts on this? Would you like to add on anything?
It's
Okay, all right. Would anyone else want to add?
I think, yeah, just a quick pointer. I think Dr. Srinath covered pretty much. I think one of the piece that I always get in LinkedIn DMs, like over emails, is like, how do I stay up to date with the trends? Because there's so much happening in the space of AI, in the space of data science, right? I think a few ways to get that started. So one way is to start reading research papers. So, and then people think, oh, Krishna just asked me to read a research paper. That's basically a job of a MTech or master's students or a PhD students or scientific scholars. No, I think there is a easy technique. It's a thumb rule that you could start. Just read the paper title, read the abstract, then go to the conclusion. That's it, just to start with, and don't get to literature review or methods in a first go, because that can be a little overwhelming. So just so that you get at like a high level what's happening to that particular paper or in that particular context. And the other piece is staying connected with folks who are already working in that space. So, and there are like platforms like ADP or the other one, I'm just blanking on the name, but it's basically where you could connect with mentors with industry, and it's free of cost. You just have to reach out to them, schedule like a 30 minutes call to see just to learn like what are the areas, what are the tools that they're working on. So I think, yeah, just staying up to date is, I think, critical, especially in the current times. So yep.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Dr. Krishna. That is very helpful for me personally, and I would definitely follow. Moving on next, Miss Lata. You often speak about the people first philosophy. How can students apply this mindset when working on group projects or internships?
Sure, Hasni. Thank you. Thank you for that. I think for me, when I mention about people first as a philosophy, is more towards a corporate context, which is like, how do team members respect each other, value, prioritize humans over the competitive goals. So for me, bringing that value to have that team spirit, team bonding is very important. So that is a context that I put it from a corporate perspective. But again, coming to internships and college aspects for the students, I would say, it's not very important to always have the internships projects from fan companies. Not everybody has to go through Facebook, Amazon, and these big brands to put up as an internship, right? I think it is more about that cultivating that mindset. From how I would again look back to what Mr. Krish has mentioned, the collaboration part, which is okay, when I'm working with a group, am I listening to my team members? Am I valuing? Am I even hearing? Or I'm just running to complete my goal, my milestone? I think that's very important. So I think that's how, from a mindset perspective, they can cultivate. Again, moving to little bit towards the mindfulness as okay, I have put up a project or I'm working towards a project. There could be many rejections, at every level, from a starting, how technically both Mr. Sri and Krish has start, okay, title to, aspect, and then everything is several steps. We don't have to lose confidence during every steps. And how do you regain that confidence after every rejection, to say yes, it is fine, it's not about personal, but it's about a validation. So I would more say that from that mindset perspective to mindfulness, to move to say that yes, I am fine even after all of this, and I will also be fine in the teams. I'll also be fine with different environment. I will also be fine with different context. I think that kind of mindfulness will help them to move forward.
Thank you, Miss Lata, for sharing that people first also means having the right mindset, working together towards the project, not losing confidence in the face of rejections, and learning how to regain it each time. That's such an important lesson for students, right? I would like to open this to other panelists as well. How do you think students can build resilience and confidence while working on other projects or internships? May I know your opinions?
Yeah, maybe I can add a quick point. I think Lata well covered. I think experience is the best education. So you just have to, try out different things, and it's okay to fail. And I've failed like 1,000 times, or even like, I haven't even counted. I think the number of times that I failed is actually greater than the number of times that I've succeeded. So, and it's okay to fail. So it's the fact that you're acknowledging and you're moving is what it all matters. So yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Dr. Krishna. We have our one more panelist, Mr. Arpit Chaudhary. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Sorry for being late, but happy to be here.
Yes, sir. He's a senior software engineer at Apple, USA, with over a decade of experience. He has worked with global tech leaders such as Apple, Amazon, Philips, and Adobe. Arpit specializes in designing and building large scale distributed systems, solving complex problems that power some of the most widely used digital platforms today. He holds a bachelor's in computer science and a master's from Carnegie Mellon University, where he deepened his expertise in software engineering and system design. His professional journey reflects excellence in applying cutting edge technology to real world solutions. We are honored to have you share your experience with us, Mr. Arpit.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. And again, sorry for being late.
Yes, sir. That's totally fine. So, my first question to you is, with your experience across Apple, Amazon, Philips, and Adobe, what qualities makes a student stand out when applying for internships in top tech companies?
Yeah, I mean, I can share a little bit of it, and I think this is subjective and it changes company to company and interviewer to interviewer. But what I've seen is experience is what makes you stand out, and I know that you cannot really have experience without really working on the job. But that's where I think your projects, your I mean, projects for school or just regular projects that you're doing for your own, for learning, they help out. And for example, if you're applying for Apple, for example, and you share about you developing some app for fun, maybe adding it to App Store. Experiences like those help you connect with the interviewer, help you connect with the company. And I think that connection helps you stand out a little more, because when you are starting your journey, starting your career, you don't have a lot of uh, differentiation compared to, let's say, the next candidate, because everyone takes the same courses. And that's where these experiences, even without really having a job, do help make that connection.
Yes, sir. Thank you for pointing out that it is not just about technical skills, but also students need to experience to connect with the interviewer and the company. That's a very practical takeaway. I would like to hear from the other panelists as well.
No, I think thank you, Arpit. It's a very valid point about connections because we discussed a lot about technical aspects, from academia to moving to real time world. I think Krish mentioned about hackathon, but I think also having a space in LinkedIn, GitHub, ensuring that they are more visible. That is very important to say. How do you stand out? Am I just talking about one of the academic project that I have done, or am I even able to say yes? I have little more insights, and these definitely comes from connection. And not every connection may be open to share their stories, but I think we should never give up to say yes. And Krish also said, yeah, I just share research report. Maybe not everybody has that learning style where they will say, okay, I will read everything, but that's one way. He said, okay, how can you just crisp, and what is that you can take away at a high level? I think these insights through every interaction will help. I would definitely recommend, as you move out of the colleges or while you're studying, having LinkedIn very prominently, understanding that is one platform to see how the world is moving. Today, totally it is moving from AI to Gen AI, and everything is changing every day. Every day morning I get up, then there is a new skill. I really don't know that last several decades that I've worked, do I know even how to hire a technical person? I doubt myself every day in the morning to ensure that I'm totally aligned with the market, understanding the jargon, understanding the risk, hallucination of AI. This is something that I start now understanding at a personal level. Also coaching everybody to say, how much can AI hallucinate? So unless we are not with the market trend, I think it's very difficult, both connections and learning. That's how I would add it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for adding up. Now, Dr. Jothi, do you believe data science and blockchain internships can be effectively pursued remotely? And if yes, how can students make the most of such opportunities?
I definitely say yes. I strongly believe that data science and blockchain internship can be pursued remotely. And in fact, many companies already offer them. Both these fields are digital by nature, so you don't need to be physically present in a lab or office. What you really need is a laptop, internet, and that's it. And now, how can the student make the most of this opportunity in terms of they can stay connected with the mentors? In remote work, communication is everything. So don't wait for instructions and keep updating your progress and ask questions, and you can take a feedback regularly. It is going to showcase your work, and we can keep GitHub profile where you can upload your codes, data sets, or smart contracts. This act like your portfolio, and use a collaboration tools. Be comfortable with Slacks or Google Colab. This makes teamwork easy, even if you're you are a team. It is a different time zone. You can share your work with your teammates, and it will helpful for remote internship to test your self learning skill, as well as we can try many online resources and tutorials to use our to improve our knowledge. And I would definitely say it is going to make most of it, and we can communicate proactively to document your work, and we can seek a feedback. So remote work is also teaches us self-discipline, and also it is essential for a skill for our future workforce. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for sharing those perspectives. Would anyone else love to share their thoughts? Okay.
I can add just a little bit to it, and I'm talking about thinking of this as any internship of thoughts or any job of thoughts. I think we touched about it a little bit before. Technical skills are important, but something that I learned during COVID is you also have to communicate well, and communicating online when you're not in person, and if you're joining an internship online, remote, that means you probably would never see your teammates in person, and communicating with someone on the screen all the time without really having uh, some sort of a friendship, some sort of knowing the other person, it becomes difficult. And I've seen that with interns that we had at our companies, uh, and especially when they're young. I think there was a mention of be effective with those online tools, yeah, like Slack. Interns, they don't really like using Slack as much. And what I mean by that is when you ask for things, they will share those progress reports. If they're stuck, they won't reach out to you. They will feel that they should do everything on their own, and then be able to take everything from 0 to 1 on their own. But that's not the expectations from, I think, anyone. If you are an intern, you need some help, you need discussions. So I think most employers or seniors on the team are usually open for discussions, but you have to initiate those discussions, that this is what I need, or this is where I'm getting stuck, or these are the options that I am thinking about, and this is what I think, but I'm having trouble getting to a decision. Help me out with this, or let's have a discussion. Uh, and some of those can happen over Slack, but for something which is, let's say, more intense and has more things to uh, think about, maybe scheduling an online meeting. When you're working in person, you can just walk up to a person and talk about these things quickly, maybe just a couple minutes of our discussion. But when we are remote, everything becomes an online meeting. So be comfortable initiating those meetings and initiating those communications, I think, is key. And not and when you're in an internship, uh, you want to be, in most cases, promoted to an actual role. I think that helps if you are talking to your teammates, even when you're remote.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your perspective and making us know that communication is the most important skill for anything. So, we have a question raised by a student, and I would like to keep this question open. How would we leverage AI in a real world projects such as improving recommendation systems for an e-commerce app in current scenery? Would anyone like to answer?
Okay, I can provide some insights. And I think, again, because this is a very specific question, right, for recommendation system for an e-commerce app, I haven't really worked on a lot of recommendation systems, at least professionally. But I think overall, how we leverage AI, to some sort of, this is some sort of a coding problem or implementation of a task problem, and we have a lot of Gen AI tools to help. But something that I've seen with most of these tools, that they are not as good with making decisions if you just ask them to do something big. They excel at small tasks. As long as you've defined specifically what you want, uh, they're able to help implement. So you still need to do your own research for important decisions that needs to be taken. So get that done. And there are a lot of AI tools there too, Perplexity, Gemini, whatever you want to use. Have some idea of what specifically you want to do here, and then ask these tools to implement it. Uh, so that's for implementation side of things. But going back to understanding what you have currently, it seems like in this case you have a recommendation system already, you can ask these tools for, let's go through your code, go through your recommendation system part of the code specifically, and suggest improvements. Uh, and what I like about asking these tools about these improvements is you as a person can then go back, review, and verify whether what they are providing as a recommendation is good or not. Recommendation as an recommendation for improvements for your tools. It's easy to do that than trying to think of all the options yourself. So use them as something to generate options, and once you have an option, be very specific on how you want to implement it, and they can help you do that. But that's where you have to be very specific most of the times.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your insights. Those were really valuable and helpful. Professor Srinath, as someone deeply involved in research and academia, what advice would you give to students who want to publish their first research paper during their BE?
Yeah, thank you, sir, for the question. Okay, so I always advise students to start something small. Okay, since the students are from the university, they'll be doing a bit of more on theoretical thing, and they may do bit of project. I always say that please start on small, and then also do a strong review based paper. If they can start reviewing a paper, and then also they can also look for some conference paper, a short paper. A conference paper doesn't go for more than 6 pages or 7 pages. They can start basically small, going for reviewing a paper or going for a conference paper. Also, I'll suggest that they need to find a mentor who can guide them, also give them timely feedback. For example, if they are working on a project or any paper, they should be able to review regularly, so that they get feedback on time. Also, they're able to go and present on these things. So to start somewhere else, okay, the student need to think, okay, what type of research you plan to do. If you want to start a research, you need to read more. As I said from beginning, you start reading. You need to read papers, recent articles. If you are going to do a research on AI and cybersecurity, take papers in last 5 years. Look at research what is happening in AI and cybersecurity. So they can also see that future directions from that particular research paper. Always they end up saying that this research can lead to the future direction. So there is the starting point. They need to think, oh, we can go through this route, and then there is a path they are shown before. These are the results. How best you can enhance this. This will be a starting point for a student to start writing a short paper for a conference, or from there they can take it up, and they can find a good mentor who can guide them. That is my advice for the students who really want to. Whenever you do some project, please also look for some innovation into that. Also, what is the scope of research you want to do? So keep these things in mind when you come up with any kind of problem statement. So it will definitely help you to go through the publication point. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing those valuable insights. Many students found it useful, and that is really helpful for the students who are about to publish their research paper. Anyone else want to share their thoughts on this from any of the panelists? Okay. Dr. Krishna, as a co founder of an edtech startup and mentor, what advice would you give students who want to translate research into entrepreneurial ventures?
Sure. Yeah, that's a good question. So when it comes to, I think throughout my entire entrepreneurial journey, I think one of my biggest insight is, questioning what works and what doesn't work. And sometimes, we think that, there's a problem, but, when you actually dive into working on that problem, you don't see that is bothering others. It's just bothering you. So I think it's all about, just do the A/B testing or like focus discussions to see if that is a real problem. So I think validating that is a big key. And like just if you have built like a prototype or something, just test with different set of population, not just like one set of target audience. Just try out different end users to build. And in fact, my own startup idea changed multiple times, because what we thought was, again, important wasn't always what teachers and students really needed. So and I think it's also about solving a pain point in a sustainable way. I think Dr. Srinath really emphasized on the sustainable practices. I think that is also key in the entrepreneurship. And also don't be afraid to start asking questions from other founders. Join community. And I think especially high T Hub, there is Telangana T Hub, and good resources for you to take advantage of. And yeah, I think in fact my own startup was seeded from a hackathon itself. So, and I've had a successful exit from my startup. So I think it's all about like how do you want to scale it. And yeah, so those are my insights. I just want to keep it short, mindful of the time for the fact. So yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dr. Krishna, for highlighting the importance of A/B testing, focused discussion, and validating ideas with different groups before scaling. I really like how you stressed on building a prototype and testing it across populations. Would anyone else love to add?
Um, I can add just a little bit to it. And in software development specifically, we talk a lot about agile, being able to iterate over something that you have. And I do help some startups as a technical advisor. And something that I've seen, it becomes even more important in a startup to be able to maybe switch paths when you figure out this isn't working. Uh, and at Amazon, we used to say you need to fail fast, and I think that's what it is about. You have to validate whether something like this works. If it does, good. Go full steam ahead on that quickly. Time is important, but if it doesn't, don't be scared of switching directions. I've seen these startups that I've worked with, especially in the first few months, they were switching direction. I mean, when I'm talking about switching direction, they're changing slightly the product and and then trying to go out, talk to users whether this will work better for them. What are other pain points that they have? So yeah, agility is important for a startup, even more important than it is for established company.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. And now that is the end of the panel discussion. To keep the flow and smooth and engaging and fun, I will now start a rapid fire round wherein anyone can answer the questions. My first question to all the panelists is: if you had to describe engineering life in one word, what would it be? Who's the panelist answering the first question?
Yeah, maybe the innovative thinker, problem solving. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Dr. Krishna.
Yeah, I think definitely innovative thinking. And I think it's also about there is this thing that I've learned while going through design thinking training is asking question of why. And I see one of the question in the chat where the question is about recommendation systems for an e-commerce app. So I think start with why and continue the why question for 5 times. So why do you want to even build a recommendation system? And you get an answer. Then iterate that why question again and like why, and keep continuing that five until 5 times. I think five is a good golden thumb rule, and then see if that really makes sense. And if not, again, iterate. So yeah, I think it's all about questioning and innovating. So yeah.
Thank you for that, Dr. Krishna. One more question. Tea, coffee, or something else? What keeps you going during long working hours? Yes, Miss Lata?
Okay, for me, it's not even tea, it's not even coffee. I just do Milo, Boost, Horlicks. I can take different ways, but I think I don't do tea and coffee. But yeah, focus is very important for me.
Yes, agreed, Miss Lata. Dr. Jothi, can we hear from you?
Yes, madam. Whatever Madam Lata said, coffee.
All right. I would love to hear from Mr. Arpit. The same question.
Sure. I mean, I do drink coffee on those times, but I don't think it matters as much depending on what work I have to get done. Because if there's a deadline, uh, that keeps me up anyways. So I have to finish it quickly so that I can sleep in peace. I don't want to be thinking about it when I'm sleeping.
All right, sir. Now, this question I would love to ask all the panelists. What is the first app you check in the morning? Okay, let's start with Mr. Arpit.
Yeah, I can go first. For me, it's calendar most of the days. That does help me understand where do I have some slots in my time
Yes.
during the day. Yeah.
Dr. Krishna?
I think I would start with my email, and a lot of times, especially in my work, my priorities do change as we pass a day. So I think email and calendar.
Yes, Miss Lata?
I keep work aside early in the morning, though I know I have to catch up on the calendar, I have to catch up on everything. The first thing I see is WhatsApp because by the time I get up, my children would have finished their day. They both are studying in US. So first thing is I will for WhatsApp. Is there anything that they sent asking, Mama, I need this, or how was their day? I think WhatsApp is the first app that I look up. I really look up to see how I can connect with my children as I get up. Then I will start the work apps.
I am with you, Miss Lata. Yes, Professor Srinath?
Yeah, yeah, I agree with my colleagues here. Okay, we start with WhatsApp. That's what we keep our mobile phones nearby in the bed, right? That's what we start. What's happening in the WhatsApp, and then we look at a calendar and plan a day. What is the meeting we have? What is the plan for the day? So of course, we start with what, and then go with the calendar, and then looks what we need to do for the particular day. Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Jyoti?
Even me, I check my WhatsApp because we are away from the family, so I want to check messages from the family members. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, okay, ma'am. So, one book or one podcast or one movie, what would you recommend to the students of this generation?
I liked a book that I read sometime back. I think it's called From Zero to One. I don't even remember the name of the author, but he was one of the investors in PayPal. I think it really helps you think about how challenging getting something started is. Improving on top of it becomes easier later. But he has good steps, and it helps people who want to maybe start a startup, and even for people who don't really need or want to open a startup. It's really helpful to start to get some thinking of how do I start something new? How do I start a new project? How do I start um, uh, a new app? Whatever it has to be.
Yes, Miss Lata?
I think I expected definitely other speakers will talk about textbooks, which are related to the study and which is leadership. But I think I would also say just don't do that. Try also little different books. I think Krish highlighted somewhere about what's working, what's not working. If you need to know all of these things, you need to also understand some self realization. I would recommend a book called Divine Romance. This is very good book on how you can really go inside and study. Today there is a lot of fears everybody go through at every level, and there is so much of overthinking. Just for a 5 minutes episode, you end up in thinking about it for 12 hours. So I think these kind of books also help you to get away from the stress that we go through on a daily life. So I think you had enough to do at your courses, doing so many textbooks. Also diversify to think not everything is right or wrong once you enter into the real world. So start also analyzing how you can keep yourself very confident. And every day I think I'll always talk about 3S, which is like, speak up, skill up, and show up. Whatever happens, you need to show up. I think that's where I heard a lot of that messages both from Arpit and Krish, from a real environment, right? You do whatever, network, come out, you need to show up. I think I will recommend that, Hassan.
Thank you for recommending the book, and I would definitely love to read it. Anyone else would love to want to share their perspectives?
Yeah, maybe I can just quickly add one of the book that I've read. It's called A More Beautiful Question by Warren Berger. I think the book is all about asking right questions, and also they kind of mention about um, it's about failing and also manifestation. So I think it's an interesting book that I would highly recommend.
Noted, sir. Definitely. So, one more question. Which do you prefer, working solo or collaborating in teams?
Yeah, maybe I can go ahead to say that working in teams is very important, and then if you want to achieve something bigger, we need to work in teams so that you learn from them each other, because each one has some in today's even panel discussion I learned a lot from my colleagues, panel members here. So we are learning from each other. So when you work in a team, you definitely learn things. Also you learn that if when you're working in a team, you learn the culture, as also how to communicate. You also learn a lot of things outside the work as well. So it's very important thing that working in a team is very important. It gives us a lot of learning, and we can achieve bigger milestones when you work as a team. And then teamwork, we also need to say that how we respect each other, respecting their thoughts, ideas, and then sharing the our views. And then you stand out by keeping yourself up in everything, learning quick. You should be fast learner as well to keep up the pace of the work. So definitely I'll encourage as teamwork. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Srinath, for that. Would anyone else want to share their perspectives on this?
I can quickly add, I wish I had a choice to work all alone, unless I have like a diamond mines where, I say, I've decided every morning not to speak to anyone. But I'm very sorry to say that we don't have a choice. But because there is no choice, I think we have to learn to work with teams, and we need to enjoy. I think we need to enjoy that phases to how to work with teams. And teams can be in different forms. I think that's very important, as we also don't have a choice. And if you need to go global, you need to learn cultures, you need to embrace everything. So I think you need to start connecting with different people, whether at company or outside, just like also Arpit highlighted, those connections are very, very important.
Yes, Ms. Lata, thank you for adding on that. And with that, we come to the end of this panel discussion. Thank you so much to all our panelists for sharing your experiences, insights, and wisdom with us today. From skills beyond the classroom to building the right mindset, from embracing ethical practices to preparing for internships, projects, and research, you've given us a roadmap to turn our BE journey into real contributions, and I'm really looking forward for it. On the behalf of ACMW Stanley, I sincerely thank you for your time and thoughtful participation. And to our audience, I hope today's discussion inspires you to look at classroom learning not just academics, but as a launchpad for impact. And with that, we officially conclude this panel discussion. Thank you once again and wishing you all the best in your journeys ahead. Thank you so much, panelists, for taking your time and joining in us today and making the session so special.
Thank you, Hasini,
Thank
to you as
Thank
well.
you.
Thank you.
To all the
So much.
students.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you,
Thank you.
panelists.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend ahead.